Let me ask you something simple, but powerful. How do you begin your day? I mean, really, how do you spend your mornings, your precious first hours, your fleeting minutes? Because whether you realize it or not, that is how you spend your life. You see, success doesn't crash into your world like a surprise party. It doesn't arrive with balloons and confetti. No, success creeps in quietly, silently, in the form of your small, repeated daily habits. While most people sit around waiting for motivation to strike like lightning, the ultra-successful are busy building. They're stacking routines like bricks, one by one, creating structure. They're not hoping for the perfect day to magically arrive. They build it, piece by piece, every single morning. Because success isn't some dramatic event. It's not a one-time breakthrough. It's a rhythm, a routine, a handful of small disciplines done again and again without fail. Now here's the truth you've been needing to hear. You don't have to flip your life upside down overnight, but you do have to change something today, something small, something daily. That's the secret. And that, right there, is exactly what this video is all about. We're not diving into vague theories or sugar-coated motivation. We're talking about what actually works, what they really do, the patterns, the behaviors, the micro-decisions that make all the difference, the very habits that pull people out of average and launch them into extraordinary. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels, if you're done watching others win while you silently wonder how they do it, stay with me, because I'm going to walk you step by step through the daily disciplines of the ultra-successful. This isn't hype. This isn't fluff. It's the real stuff, the habits that build wealth, cultivate wisdom, and design winning lives. The only question is, are you ready to use them? Let's get started. First things first, they wake up with intention. Because the morning isn't just a time of day, it's the CEO of the entire day. And like any great CEO, it sets the tone. Think of it this way. Your morning is both the seed of your day and the harvest. And what you get later depends entirely on what you plant at the start. How you begin truly matters, because more often than not, how you start determines how you finish. And the most successful people? They know this. They don't stumble groggily into the morning. They design it. They don't hit snooze. They hit stride. Now pause for a moment and picture this. What does the average person do when their alarm rings? They moan. They curse it. They slam the snooze button like it's an enemy. But the successful, they rise, not just from the bed, but into intention, into momentum, into clarity. Why? Because they understand the morning is the CEO of the day. And ask yourself, if your CEO shows up late, if your CEO is disoriented and unfocused, what happens to the company? Right, it crumbles. It becomes reactive instead of proactive. The same principle applies to your day. Here's a rule I live by. Don't start the day until you've finished it. On paper, that means planning. That means preparation. It means taking a few quiet moments the night before to look at tomorrow and say, here's what I'll do. Here's what actually matters, and here's what I won't waste my time on. The ultra-successful don't guess what the day will bring. They command it. They don't wish for a good day. They craft one. Now maybe you're thinking, but, Jim, I'm just not a morning person. And that's okay. You don't have to rise at 4 a.m. with fireworks and espresso. You simply have to wake up with purpose, because purpose is stronger than the pillow. It pulls you up when laziness whispers for you to stay down. The ultra-successful understand this truth. Every single day is a vote for discipline or a vote for delay. And the first vote? It's cast the moment you wake up. So, what happens? Next, let's take a look at exactly how the ultra-successful shape the rest of their morning, one powerful step at a time. Picking up from where we left off. The ultra-successful don't just wake up with purpose. They lead with it. And how do they do that? They begin with what I call their power hour. This first hour of the day, it's not just a routine, it's sacred. It's protected. It's the foundation for everything that follows. During this time, they don't rush. There's no chaos, no mindless scrolling, no inbox floods, just quiet focus. They read, they write, they reflect, they plan. While the world outside buzzes with distractions and breaking news, they remain centered, grounded. They don't start their mornings with noise, they start with goals. They don't scroll through someone else's life, they steer their own. Because here's the truth. If you don't steer your day will steer you. And more often than not, it drives you straight off course, sometimes off a cliff. Want to know one small shift that creates a massive impact? Gratitude. Yes, it sounds simple. And yes, it is simple. But don't underestimate it. The ultra-successful don't open their day with complaints. They open it with thanks. Because gratitude changes the lens through which you see the world. When you begin your morning appreciating what you already have, you begin noticing possibilities instead of burdens. That's not just emotion, that's mindset. And mindset? It's the soil from which every productive morning grows. Now maybe you're thinking, Jim, I've been winging my mornings for years. That's okay. We all start somewhere. What matters is this: today's a perfect day to take the wheel. Because habits don't ask for permission. They don't care whether you're ready. They simply deliver results, good or bad. If you want better results, then it starts with building a better morning. So let me give you something practical. 3 simple steps you can begin tomorrow. Step 1. Decide tonight what tomorrow will look like. Don't leave your priorities floating in the fog of morning. Write them down. Create clarity before the day begins. Step 2. Protect your first 15 minutes. No phone, no inbox, no social media. Just you, your mind, and your purpose. Even a short pocket of silence can spark a powerful day. Step 3. Feed your mind. Read a paragraph. Listen to a fresh idea. Journal one meaningful thought. Just one. That's enough to pivot your mind from reactive to intentional. If you do these 3 things, you won't just be living the day, you'll be leading it. So let me say this clearly. Be the CEO of your day. Stand at the head of the boardroom, your body, your time, your decisions, and give the day its marching orders. Because if you don't lead it, trust me, someone else will. And let's be honest, you've got dreams to build, a future to shape, and that all begins with your first few waking moments. So tomorrow, wake up with fire in your chest, focus in your mind, and intention in your step. Because when you move with intention, success has no choice but to follow. And once they've protected their morning and their mindset, what do the ultra-successful do next? They feed their mind. Because for them, daily learning isn't optional, it's non-negotiable. Now that we've talked about fueling your mind with daily learning, let's go a level deeper, because the ultra-successful don't just learn randomly, they learn strategically. They're intentional about who they learn from and what they absorb. They don't rely on ego. They don't pretend to know it all. Instead, they ask questions. They seek out people who've already walked the path. They study, they observe, they listen. They invest in themselves through mentors, through courses, through masterminds. They're not afraid to pay to collapse the timeline to success. Why? Because wise people understand something that average thinkers often forget. Learning compresses time. It removes years of trial and error. It reveals shortcuts you wouldn't even know existed unless someone ahead of you pointed them out. But here's the key. Learning isn't just about stacking more information, it's about transformation. What good is reading 50 books a year if your life looks exactly the same? The ultra-successful don't just collect ideas, they use them, they apply them, they take knowledge and turn it into action. They transform insights into impact and ideas into income. That's the real difference. So let me challenge you. Just one small shift. but one that can change the trajectory of your next 12 months. Every single day, consume one meaningful idea. That's it, just one. Read a page, listen to a mentor, watch a 5-minute video, write down one thought. It doesn't have to be huge, but consistency compounds. A small input today becomes exponential output tomorrow. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't plant something good, the weeds, doubt, fear, distraction will grow on their own. That's why you must curate what you feed your brain. Because what goes in, comes out. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your choices, and that affects your relationships, your career, your health, everything. Let me leave you with this. The world is evolving faster than ever. If you're not learning, you're not standing still. You're falling behind. But the ultra-successful, they stay sharp. They stay curious. They stay teachable. They understand the truth. You are the most important project you'll ever work on. And you build that project one page, one idea, one lesson at a time. Make growth a habit. Make learning non-negotiable. And soon you'll find success no longer something you chase. It starts to chase you. Now let's talk about the next essential discipline they've mastered. They guard their attitude like it's the most valuable asset they own. So, after guarding their attitude like a precious resource, what happens next? Here's the magic. The world starts to respond. Doors begin to open. People react differently to your energy because, like it or not, you attract what you broadcast. That's not just motivation talk, it's reality. Let me leave you with this truth. Your attitude is your atmosphere. And just like plants only grow in the right climate, your dreams can only flourish in the right mindset. So, fill that atmosphere with belief. Fill it with gratitude. Fill it with discipline. Protect it fiercely. Sharpen it daily. Use it like the tool it was meant to be. Because success doesn't respond to moods or emotion. It responds to mindset. That's why the ultra-successful guard theirs like it's gold. But mindset alone isn't enough. You need something even more fundamental, energy. That's where the next habit comes in. They prioritize their health. Because, make no mistake, energy is the first currency of success. Most people don't hear this enough. Success isn't just about ambition. It's not only about strategy or vision. It starts with energy. Without it, even the sharpest plans collect dust. Even the most brilliant ideas stay locked inside a notebook. Even the smartest minds crumble under fatigue. Let's keep it real. Your health is the engine. And if the engine's not running, you're not going anywhere. Not fast. Not far. Imagine this. You've got the dream car, the roadmap, and even the destination. But you forgot one thing. Fuel. What happens? The engine sputters. It stalls. You're stuck on the side of the road, watching others pass you by. That's exactly what happens to so many talented people. They've got drive, but no stamina. They've got dreams, but no energy to pursue them. They have the vision, but not the vitality. And here's the truth. That's not a success problem. That's a health problem. The ultra-successful understand this. That's why they treat their health not as an afterthought, but as a non-negotiable. They treat their bodies like high-performance machines, because that's exactly what they are. And think about it. Would you ever pour cheap fuel into a Ferrari? Of course not. So why do so many people pour processed junk into their bodies and expect world-class performance? Now listen, I'm not saying you have to run marathons or become a bodybuilder. That's not the point. What I am saying is this. You must take care of the only vehicle capable of carrying you to your biggest dreams. That means eating to fuel, not just for flavor. It means moving your body, not just scrolling your phone. It means prioritizing quality sleep like your future depends on it. Because truthfully, it does. Here's something I discovered early on. Discipline in your health spills into everything else. When you start eating better, you start thinking clearer. When you exercise, you make sharper decisions. When you sleep well, you show up stronger. Health isn't just about how you look. It's about how you function at your highest possible level. And once energy becomes your foundation, there's one more thing the ultra-successful focus on. And it's something most people overlook: how they manage their time. As we just explored, your health is your engine. And when your energy is high, life feels lighter, clearer, and more possible. But when your energy is low, everything feels heavier than it should. Even the smallest task becomes a mountain. And let me ask you, have you ever tried to stay motivated while you're running on empty? When you're tired, hungry, or just mentally foggy? It's not a coincidence. That's what happens when the body isn't fueled right. Because success doesn't just need enthusiasm, it requires real, sustained energy. And where does that energy come from? Discipline. Discipline in what you eat, in how you move, in what you prioritize. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. Let me give you a peek inside the mindset of the ultra-successful. They treat their health like they treat their finances. They invest in it, they protect it, they budget it. They cut out what drains them: negative habits, toxic people, unsustainable routines. And they say yes to what fuels them: nutritious food, movement, rest, and renewal. They don't find time to work out. They make time because they know the truth. If you don't make time for your health now, you'll have to make time for sickness later. And that's not a trade the successful are willing to make. Maybe you're thinking, Jim, you don't get it. I've got a packed schedule. I'm juggling work, family, goals. Where's the time for fitness or cooking or sleep? I hear that from busy CEOs and high achievers all the time. And here's what I always tell them: you don't make time for your health because you're free. You make time for your health so you can stay free. Free to chase your goals, free to serve others, free to show up fully without dragging a tired, overworked body behind you. So start simple, start small, but most importantly, start now. Take a short morning walk. Choose a cleaner lunch. Power down your screen and get a full night of sleep. These may seem like small decisions, but they are the foundation of massive change. Because here's the truth: success is built on the basics. Let me leave you with this before we move on. Your energy is your edge. Protect it. Build it. Prioritize it. Because no matter how solid your strategy is, without energy, you won't execute. And execution, that's the difference between those who wish and those who win. Treat your body like it's your most important business, because it is. And when your body becomes unstoppable, so does your life. Now let's shift gears. Once your energy is in place, what comes next? Planning. Because the ultra-successful don't just work hard, they work smart. They believe in this: strategy before sweat. Let me share something that can save you years of frustration. Activity does not equal achievement. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're building. Just because you're moving doesn't mean you're progressing. The ultra-successful know it's not about motion. It's about direction. Not just hustle, but purposeful hustle. Because hustle without a target? That's just chaos in disguise. So what do? They slow down before speeding up. They think before they move. They plan before they act. They don't rush into the day, they design it. They put strategy before sweat. And that's what separates them from the overwhelmed, the reactive, and the constantly burnt out. Think about it like this: would you start swinging a bat if you didn't know where the target was? Of course not. But that's exactly what many people do with their day. They grind, they push, they hustle, but without clarity. And you know what that costs? Everything: time, energy, progress. The successful don't tolerate that kind of waste. They don't start their day until they know why it matters. They don't jump into tasks until they've seen the bigger picture. One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned is this: don't start your week until you've finished it on paper. The same goes for your day. Think it through, write it down, lay it out. Because here's the truth: if you don't assign your time a job, The world will assign it for you. Your phone will pull you. Your inbox will chase you. Your day will slip into the hands of distractions. And before you realize it, the sun has set, and your dreams haven't moved an inch closer. But not the ultra-successful. They win the day before the day even begins. They don't just wake up and react. They wake up and execute. And next, we'll uncover the secret weapon. Behind that execution, focus. The kind of focus that cuts through noise, resists distraction, and builds unstoppable momentum. Once the ultra-successful have a plan in hand, they don't just dive into their day blindly. They move with focus, with clarity, with intention. They don't try to do it all. They zoom in on what matters most. They ask themselves, what are my top priorities today? What's worth my energy? What will truly move the needle? They get crystal clear on what they will do, and just as importantly, on what they won't do. They've mastered the difference between what's urgent and what's important, between being busy and being effective, because it's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters more. Let me give you a visual. Imagine you're building a house. You don't just show up with a hammer and start swinging, hoping for the best. No, you follow a blueprint. You measure carefully, you cut precisely. Why? Because planning prevents mistakes. It saves you time, money, stress. The same principle applies to your day. The ultra-successful treat every morning like it's a construction site, and they arrive with the blueprint already in hand. So here's a challenge for you. Before you open your laptop, open your planner. Before you scroll through social media, scroll through your goals. Ask yourself, what are the 3 things I must complete today to move my life forward? Not 10, not 20, just 3. 3 clear priorities that, if done, make the day a win. That's how the successful operate. That's how they build with precision. Because most people don't fall short from laziness. They fall short from being scattered. They spend their day reacting instead of creating, putting out fires instead of lighting their own, but not the ultra-successful. They've trained themselves to plan ahead. And that one habit? It turns ordinary hours into extraordinary results. So where do you begin? Right here. Start every morning with just 10 minutes of planning. That's it. Ask yourself, what outcomes do I want today? What roadblocks might get in the way? What's my first move? That quick moment of strategy becomes your compass for the day ahead. Because without a plan, you're not leading your day. You're just reacting to it. But with a plan, you walk into the day with authority. Let me sum it up like this. Hard work matters. But directional work, that's what builds legacies. So don't just get busy. Get busy doing the right things. Don't just move. Move with aim. Don't just sweat. Sweat with strategy. Because when effort meets clarity, that's when the magic happens. And that, my friend, is how the ultra-successful move mountains, one well-planned day at a time. But having a plan isn't enough on its own. You also have to face what you're tempted to avoid. That's why their next secret is this. They do the hard thing first. Discipline before comfort. Let me tell you, one of the biggest secrets of the ultra-successful is simple yet powerful. They don't wait until they feel like it. They don't consult their mood. They don't bargain with procrastination. Instead, they do what needs to be done first, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or downright annoying, because they understand a truth that most people miss. Discipline must come before comfort. If you flip that order, if you let comfort lead, your dream will slowly fade away. Believe me, I've learned this the hard way. The easy path? It's crowded. It's where good intentions go to die. It's full of someday plans and maybe later decisions. But the hard path, that's where champions are built. That's where the dreamers become doers. Let me ask you something. What's the one thing you've been putting off? You already know what it is. That phone call, that workout, that spreadsheet, that tough conversation. It's been sitting on your desk, lingering in the back of your mind, and every single day you avoid it. it doesn't disappear. It grows heavier. Previously, we talked about doing the hard thing first, about choosing discipline over delay. But here's the catch. When you don't do that hard thing, when you avoid it, something subtle and dangerous begins to happen. That's the trick of procrastination. It takes a simple 5-pound task and turns it into a 50-pound weight. The longer you delay it, the heavier it becomes. And that weight? It doesn't just sit on your to-do list, it sits on your mind. But here's what the ultra-successful understand. When you do the hard thing first, the rest of your day gets easier. You build momentum early. You take the driver's seat. But if you avoid that hard thing, if you push it to later, the day takes control of you. You spend the rest of the day reacting, avoiding, dragging your feet. Now someone might say, "But Jim, I'm just not feeling motivated." And to that, I say, motivation is a myth if it isn't backed by discipline. You don't need to feel, ready. You need to get moving. Because movement sparks momentum. Motion creates motivation. Discipline is what pushes you to take the first step. Motivation shows up after you've already started. Picture this. You wake up and you're met with a choice. 2 paths. One says, "Do the hard thing." The other whispers, "Delay it just a little longer." Whichever path you choose, that choice becomes a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. You choose discipline, you cast a vote for strength. For growth, for courage, you choose delay, you vote for doubt, for avoidance, for fear. The ultra-successful, they don't let fear cast their votes. They take ownership. They say, "I'm in charge," and they act. Not because they love the discomfort, but because they love what's on the other side of it. They make the call. They write the draft. They go to the gym. They start the thing. Not out of emotion, but out of principle. And one of their core principles, do it now. Especially when you don't want to. You want more time in your day? Do the hard thing first. You want more freedom, more peace of mind? Do the hard thing first. You want more confidence, more control over your schedule? You guessed it. Do the hard thing first. That single act, done early, sends a powerful signal to your brain. I'm in command. And when you take command in the morning, the rest of the day falls into place. But delay it, and the day will command you. Here's a simple strategy. Every morning, identify the most difficult task. Not the longest, not the most annoying, but the one that truly matters. The one that makes you grow. The one that moves you forward. The one you keep pushing to tomorrow. Then, do it before breakfast, before distractions, before your brain starts looking for ways to escape. Do it while your willpower is still sharp. Because, here's the truth. Discipline compounds. Every time you do something difficult today, the next hard thing tomorrow becomes a little easier. Every disciplined act strengthens the next one. Let me leave you with this. Comfort is tempting, but comfort is a trap. It says, take it easy. You've earned a break. Do it later. And if you listen to that voice too often, one day you'll wake up and wonder where your momentum went, where your progress disappeared. But discipline? It says, do it now. Grow through it. Win today. That voice, that gritty, focused voice, is the one that transforms lives. So, do the hard thing first. Beat the delay. Silence the doubt. Claim your momentum. Because when discipline leads, success follows. Now, once discipline is in place, there's one more resource the ultra-successful treat as sacred: time. Let's talk about how they master it. So, once you embrace discipline and begin doing the hard things first, the next battle is mastering what controls your entire life: your time. Because here's the truth. If you don't design your day, your distractions will. Let me give you something straight from my own playbook. Run your day, or the day will run you. The moment you open your eyes, the world starts pulling at you. Notifications, messages, inboxes, updates, everyone and everything wants a piece of your time. If you don't tell your time where to go, it'll get hijacked by someone else's priorities. So how do the ultra-successful manage their minutes? Simple. They schedule everything. Not just meetings and appointments, but thinking time, workouts, family moments, deep work, rest. Every block of the day is given purpose because they understand that a blank calendar isn't freedom. It's a trap. It invites distraction. And distraction? That's how dreams are delayed. Because idle time doesn't stay idle. It gets filled with low-value habits. And low-value habits, repeated daily, lead to low-quality results. The successful don't leave that to chance. Here's something practical. Before your head hits the pillow each night, ask yourself 3 simple questions. What are the top 3 outcomes I must achieve tomorrow? 2. What exact time will I do them? What distractions do I need to remove or reduce to protect those hours? That little routine takes 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes can save you 10 hours of aimless effort, because clarity saves time, and clarity is born from planning with intention. Let's talk value for a moment. If I handed you $1,000, would you throw it in the street? Of course not. But people throw away an hour every day, scrolling, drifting, stalling like it's nothing. And here's the truth. An hour is more valuable than $1,000 when you know how to use it. One focused hour could ignite your next business idea. 1 hour of deep learning could transform your mindset. 1 hour with your child could shape their confidence for a lifetime. Minutes matter because minutes multiply into millions. Don't let them slip by unnoticed. Let me leave you with this thought. Time is not just something you use, it's something you become. Use your time with focus and excellence, and you become excellent. Spend your time in distraction, and you become scattered. So stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, I'm not giving my time to that. That shift, that's ownership. That's power. That's success. So today, take back your time. Track it. Guard it. Invest it. Because when you master your minutes, you expand your possibilities. You don't just manage time, you multiply your life. And there's one more thing the ultra-successful do that amplifies their effectiveness. They communicate with clarity. After mastering their time, the ultra-successful turn to another powerful tool: communication. Because in their world, words aren't just sounds. Words move things. Words build trust, close deals, inspire teams, and unlock doors that effort alone can't open. You see, the most successful people don't overcomplicate their message. They keep it simple. They get to the point. They speak to move people, not just to fill silence. And here's what I've learned. Clear communication is a reflection of clear thinking. When your message is messy, chances are your mind is messy, too. So the first step isn't to speak louder. It's to think better. Before you even open your mouth, ask yourself, what am I really trying to say? What outcome do I want from this conversation? How can I say it in one sentence? Because clarity always wins. Every time. Now someone might say, Jim, I'm just not a good speaker. And here's the good news. You don't need to be charismatic. You just need to be clear. You don't need perfect grammar or a powerful voice. You need to mean what you say, and say it in a way that lands, that connects, that creates movement. The ultra-successful have mastered this. Whether they're sending an email, leading a meeting, speaking on stage, or having a one-on-one conversation, they've trained themselves to communicate with intention. They speak with purpose, listen with attention, and write with precision. Why? Because they understand something vital. The quality of your communication shapes the quality of your influence. And influence, friends, is the currency of leadership. Want something practical? Here it is. Practice powerful phrases. Top performers have go-to sentences they use like tools. Phrases like, "Here's what I need from you today. Let me explain why this matters. Here's our next step. What are your thoughts?" Keep your communication short, sharp, clear. Because powerful communication doesn't happen by chance. It's a skill. It's a discipline. It's designed. And remember, it's not just about the words you use. It's about how you say them. Your tone, your posture, your timing, your presence. The ultra-successful, they own the moment. They don't rush. They don't mumble. They don't dodge the truth. They speak with calm confidence, with clarity and grace. And that kind of communication, it moves people. Now zoom out for a second. Want a better business? Improve your communication. Want a stronger team? Sharpen your communication. Want deeper relationships, more trust, more influence? You guessed it, upgrade your communication. Because when you learn how to say things better, you begin to live better. You gain respect, momentum, clarity. Let me leave you with this. Words create worlds, so choose yours carefully. Speak with intention. Speak with clarity. Speak like your words matter, because they absolutely do. One phrase can change someone's day. One sentence can shift a mindset. And one honest conversation, it can change your entire life. So, communicate like a leader, because words move the world. After sharpening their communication, the ultra-successful end their day not with distraction, but with deliberate reflection, because to them, the day doesn't truly end until it's learned from. So let me ask you, when your head hits the pillow at night, do you pause? Do you take even a moment to look back before rushing into tomorrow? Because here's the truth. Reflection is the bridge between experience and wisdom. Without it, days blur together into routine. But with it, each day becomes a building block in the legacy you're creating. The ultra-successful don't end their day with endless scrolling, background noise, or another binge session. They close the day with intention, just 5 or 10 quiet minutes. That's all it takes. They ask themselves, what worked today? What didn't? Where did I win? Where did I drift? What did I learn? Because if you don't ask these questions, you miss the growth hiding in plain sight. Let me share a simple formula I've taught for years. E plus R cacas O. That means event plus reflection equals outcome. The event by itself doesn't transform you. It's what you learn from it that carries the power. Every result carries a lesson. Success teaches. Failure teaches. A single conversation teaches. And yes, mistakes are full of lessons if you're paying attention. And that's what the ultra-successful do. They pay attention. Want to know the fastest way to grow? Shorten the gap between action and adjustment. Most people take months or even years to course correct. But the successful, they do it daily. They don't wait until something breaks. They make small corrections in real time. Tiny shifts that keep them aligned. It's like flying a plane. If you're 1 degree off, you could land in the wrong city. But if you catch it early, you land exactly where you meant to. That's what evening reflection does. It keeps your life on course. Now let me be honest. Some people aren't stuck because of a bad plan. They're stuck because they never stop to review the plan. They're just reliving the same day, hoping something magically changes. But the ultra-successful? They upgrade the system every night. They ask, how did I lead today? Did I live according to my values? What did I tolerate? That I shouldn't have? What deserves more of my time tomorrow? They fine-tune the engine daily, so the machine runs smoother the next morning. Now, I'm not saying you need to journal like a novelist. You don't need pages of reflection. You just need a moment of honest awareness. That's it. Presence, a habit. Because I'll tell you this, 5 minutes of reflection beats 5 hours of blind hustle. Why? Because reflection brings clarity, and clarity amplifies everything. Your decisions, your priorities, your progress. Here's a simple habit you can start tonight. Right before bed, write down 3 quick things. 1. Win from the day. 1 lesson you learned. 1 way you'll improve tomorrow. That's your recalibration. That's how you narrow the gap between who you were today and who you're becoming tomorrow. Let me leave you with this. Don't just hope for alignment. Practice it. Don't just wish for growth. Plan it. Because reflection isn't soft. Reflection is a discipline. It's how the wise stay humble. It's how the great stay grounded. It's how the successful stay on course. So tonight, don't just crash into bed. Sit with your day, learn from it, adjust it, elevate it, because evenings aren't meant to escape the day, they're meant to elevate it. After ending the day with honest reflection, the ultra-successful anchor themselves in something deeper, gratitude. Because for them, gratitude isn't just a seasonal sentiment, it's a daily discipline. You see, they don't practice gratitude once a year on Thanksgiving. They don't wait for big wins to feel thankful. Gratitude is the lens through which they see everything, every challenge, every victory, every ordinary moment. And here's a truth worth remembering. Abundance doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your heart. You know what I've learned through the years? You can have everything, the career, the house, the accolades, and still feel completely empty. Or you can have very little and still feel full to the brim. It all depends on where your focus lives. The ultra-successful, they don't obsess over what's missing. They stay centered in what's present. They don't overlook their blessings. They count them. They name them. They write them down. That single habit, reflecting daily on what's good, is what keeps them grounded and growing, even when life gets noisy. Let me tell you something that's hard but true. Success without gratitude will rot your soul. Yes, you might build the business. Yes, you might hit the income goal. You might get the applause. But without gratitude, it'll never feel like enough. There will always be something missing. That's why some of the wealthiest people in the world are also the most miserable, because they've fed their bank accounts but starved their spirit. The ultra-successful choose a different path. They nourish the spirit first. They begin the day with a quiet thank you. They end the day appreciating even the hard lessons. They say, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the strength I didn't know I had. Thank you for today. Because they've discovered a powerful law. The more you appreciate, the more there is to appreciate. Gratitude multiplies what you value. It amplifies your perspective. It unlocks deeper joy. Now maybe you're thinking, but Jim, how do I stay grateful when life is tough? Let me tell you, gratitude isn't denial. It's power. It doesn't ignore pain. It reframes it. It says, yes, this is hard, but I'm still here. I'm still learning. I'm still breathing. It reminds you that even in the storm, there is still something to be thankful for. And here's another truth. Gratitude attracts. It attracts people. It attracts peace. It attracts opportunity. People are naturally drawn to those who lift the room instead of draining it, to those who choose joy instead of complaining, to those who bring solutions, not just spotlight problems. The ultra-successful don't gossip about what's broken. They speak life into what's working. They bring energy, not excuses. They bring perspective, not just pressure. And that mindset, it's magnetic. Here's a simple habit you can start today. The Gratitude 3. Every morning or evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Big or small, expected or unexpected, simple or extraordinary. And don't just write them, feel them. Let that appreciation sink in. Let it shift something in you. Do this every single day, and your life will begin to change. Because what you focus on grows. Let me leave you with this. Gratitude isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a strategy. It softens the heart, sharpens the mind, and elevates the spirit. So don't just chase what's next. Appreciate what's now. Because the one who's grateful for little is the one who can be trusted with much. The person who honors what they already have, they'll never be without. Abundance doesn't begin with more. It begins with meaning. And meaning begins with gratitude. After mastering gratitude, the ultra-successful turn their focus to something most people overlook, but it's crucial: their environment. Because they know proximity is power. Your environment is either pulling you forward or quietly dragging you down. It's shaping your thoughts, feeding your emotions, and influencing your decisions more than you realize. So let me ask you, who's in your circle? Who's in your ear? Who's speaking into your life day after day? Who do you spend your mornings, your breaks, your evenings with? Because here's the truth. Every conversation is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Every relationship is either fuel or a leak. The ultra-successful understand this at a deep level. That's why they regularly do relationship audits. Not because they're arrogant, but because they're aware. They've learned that environment molds outcomes. When you're around growth-minded people, you grow. When you're surrounded by doubt, you shrink. Let me share a principle I've taught for years. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you spend your time with complainers, you'll start to complain. But if you surround yourself with dreamers, builders, and leaders, you'll start to stretch. You'll begin to rise. You'll reach for more. Because environment doesn't just influence you, it sculpts you. It shapes your beliefs, your behavior, your bandwidth. The ultra-successful are ruthless about protecting their space. They audit their circle, guard their peace, filter their inputs. They're intentional about what they see, hear, and allow. They know. You can't build $1 million mindset in a toxic atmosphere. You can't grow if you're stuck in constant drama. You can't lead while surrounded by chaos. You can't stay focused in a cluttered, noisy, negative space. Now you might say, Jim, what if it's my family? What if it's my coworkers that bring the negativity? Here's what I say. You may not be able to choose everyone in your life, but you can choose your proximity. You can limit access, set boundaries, turn up the volume on the voices that build you, turn down the volume on the ones that don't. Even if your physical environment isn't ideal yet, you can build a mental environment that supports your vision. That's where transformation begins. Let me share how the ultra-successful do this in practical ways. They curate their inputs, books, podcasts, videos, conversations. They're selective because what goes in comes out. Want to think better? Consume better. They design their physical space for clarity. Their office, desk, and morning setup aren't random. They're designed for focus. Because clarity in your space creates clarity in your mind. They protect their time, like a fortress. They don't say yes to everything. They avoid draining meetings, drama-filled calls, or complaint sessions. Not out of rudeness, but out of respect for their vision. Because time is life and energy is fuel, and both are non-refundable. Here's a truth worth writing down. You can't build a powerful life in a weak environment. So build a space, physically, mentally, emotionally, that reinforces your identity and supports your goals. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking, celebrate your progress, push you to keep going. Because here's the law. Environment is stronger than willpower, so don't fight your environment. Fix it. Want more focus? Create it. Want more energy? Protect it. Want to rise higher? Elevate your circle. Let me leave you with this. If you want to elevate your life, start by elevating your environment. Clean the clutter. Control the noise. Choose your circle wisely. Because you don't just build your future, you also protect the space where it's built. And that space, it's sacred. So guard it fiercely. Because what surrounds you shapes you. And once their environment is aligned, the ultra-successful take it a step further. They track their progress. Once the ultra-successful have aligned their environment and started tracking their progress with precision, they unlock the final powerful key to sustained impact. They give daily. Because success doesn't end with achievement, it expands through contribution. Let me tell you one of the most misunderstood truths in the world of success. You don't get rich by chasing money. You get rich by adding value. You don't build real influence by demanding attention. You build it by serving others so well that the world can't ignore you. And here's what the ultra-successful deeply understand, what many others miss. You don't wait until you're successful to give. You become successful because you give. Now, I'm not just talking about charity, although that absolutely matters. I'm talking about something even bigger. I'm talking about building a daily lifestyle of contribution. Because every day, whether you notice it or not, gives you a chance to offer something valuable. Your energy, your attention, your kindness, your ideas, your presence. See, success isn't just about what you get. It's about who you become through what you give. Let me ask you something personal. When people encounter you, do they leave richer? I don't mean financially. I mean emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Do they leave inspired, uplifted, encouraged? Or just entertained? Because the ultra-successful don't leave people feeling neutral. They leave people better. There's a principle I live by. Don't just be impressive, be valuable. Anyone can flash talent, but value, true value, is built through consistent contribution. You want better opportunities? Become more valuable. You want more income? Make more impact. You want deeper relationships? Give more presence, more patience, more integrity. Because success flows where value grows, the ultra-successful make giving a daily rhythm. They give when it's easy and when it's not. They offer mentorship before being asked. They plant seeds behind the scenes, trusting that the harvest will come. Maybe not today, maybe not next week. But when you sow value with intention, value always returns, with interest. Let's get something clear, though. Giving isn't about being used. It's about being useful. You don't give to be taken advantage of. You give to build advantage. For others, for your brand, for your legacy. Because every act of giving done with integrity builds equity. Equity in trust. Equity in relationships. Equity in your future. That's why the most successful people I know, they never stop giving. Even when they don't have to. Even when they could coast. Why? Because they understand. A full life comes from a full heart. And a full heart is always filled by giving. So here's my challenge to you. Every single day, give something that costs you. Give a compliment that requires humility. Give encouragement that takes attention. Give your best effort, even when no one is watching. Give a little more than what's expected. Because that extra mile, that's where greatness lives. You want to stand out? Don't just deliver, over-deliver. You want to build a legacy? Don't just accumulate, contribute. You want to walk into rooms others only dream of? Stop asking, what can I get from this? Start asking, what can I give to this? Because that's how you multiply your value. And value, my friend, always makes room for you. Let me leave you with this. Life responds to givers, not takers, not hoarders, not those who wait for success to come knocking, but those who wake up and ask, how can I make someone's day better today? How can I serve the mission, not just my mood? Because in the end, it's not just about what you build. It's about what you give along the way that defines your impact. Now, let's bring it all together. It's time to reflect on the journey we've taken and how to put these disciplines into action starting today. So once you begin giving daily, something beautiful happens. You stop chasing success and start living from significance. Because when your focus is on contribution, you'll never be without. And what you build won't just be wealthy, it'll be worthy. And that brings us to the final truth, the secret that keeps the great ones growing long after the spotlight fades. They stay humble and they stay hungry. It's a rare combination, but it's the winning one. Because pride? Pride will tell you you've arrived. But hunger? Hunger reminds you there's more to become. And humility? Humility keeps you teachable, especially when everyone around you is trying to look impressive. You see, the ultra-successful never confuse recognition with completion. They don't say, "I've made it." They say, "There's still room to grow, room to serve, room to stretch, room to become better," because they know. The moment you think you're too big to learn, that's the moment you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, you start to decline. Here's a phrase worth writing down. Ego is the enemy of excellence. You can be confident, absolutely. But the second confidence slips into arrogance, you block your next level. The ultra-successful know how to carry confidence in one hand and curiosity in the other. They're never too experienced to ask questions. They still read. They still take notes, even from people behind them on the path. Why? Because they're not obsessed with being right. They're obsessed with getting better. Now maybe you're wondering, "Jim, when can I relax? When can I finally coast?" Here's the honest answer. When you're done growing, when you're done giving, when you're done becoming the best version of yourself. Until then, stay humble, stay hungry, stay in the game. Because the moment you coast, you slide. And success doesn't visit the comfortable, it rewards the committed. Let me give you an image. Picture a tall, strong, fruit-bearing tree. Even when it's fully grown, it keeps reaching toward the sky. It digs its roots deeper. It opens wider to the sunlight. That's growth. And that's exactly what the ultra-successful have become. Rooted but rising, grounded but growing, strong but still seeking. After years around high performers, I've noticed something else. They never forget where they came from. They're not too important to say thank you, not too busy to shake a hand, not too wealthy to give generously, not too famous to listen quietly, because they understand. Pride builds walls, but humility builds bridges. And the longer you're in the game, the more those bridges matter. So what do you do with this? Here's a practice to live by. After every success, take a moment to ask, what did I learn? Who helped me get here? Where? Can I still improve? Celebrate your wins, yes, but don't stop climbing. Don't stop stretching. Because the real goal, it's not just to rise, it's to keep rising and to rise right. And to do that, you need two anchors. Gratitude to keep you grounded. Growth to keep you reaching. Let me leave you with this. You're never too successful to learn, never too smart to listen, never too accomplished to evolve. The ultra-successful, they never outgrow humility, and they never lose their hunger. So no matter how far you've come, keep stretching, keep serving, because the journey isn't over, it's just beginning. Coming off the heels of humility and hunger, it's only natural. We talk about what those two qualities lead to, the power of building your future one day at a time, because the journey isn't over, and the next level, it's only unlocked by those who keep showing up and keep growing. So let's tie everything together. We've covered so much on this journey together: mindset, mornings, planning, giving, tracking, growing. But now, here at the end, I want to offer you something simple, yet powerful. A truth that has the power to reshape your entire approach to success. Success isn't built in years. It's built in days. That's right. You don't need a new life. You need a new day. Because every extraordinary future begins not with a massive leap, but with one great day, and then another and another. The ultra-successful? They don't wait for someday. They don't wish for a better life in the distant future. They live for today, with intention, with focus, with discipline. They've learned that tomorrow's destiny is silently shaped by today's decisions. So what do? They win the morning. They protect their time. They direct their focus. They rack up tiny wins. And those small daily victories, they don't just add up, they compound. You might have heard the phrase, success is about big moves. But let me tell you the truth. Success is about the small things, done daily. Small disciplines, small, courageous choices. Small steps that might seem invisible or insignificant today, but over time, they mold the character. They sculpt the identity. They define the legacy. So let me ask you honestly, how are you building your days? Are you intentional or reactive? Are you present or distracted? Are you planting seeds of purpose or just watching the clock tick by? Because whether you realize it or not, everyone is building something. The question is, are you building what you truly want? The future doesn't show up fully formed. It's built, one day at a time. So here's your challenge. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Don't wait to feel ready. Begin anyway. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be consistent. Because the good news? You don't need to go to extremes. You don't need to sprint every day. You just need to show up on purpose every single day. And when you do, you build a rhythm. That rhythm builds a routine. That routine shapes your results. And those results, they start to build your life. Life doesn't respond to what we hope will happen. It responds to what we do today. So make the call. Write the words. Plan the day. Eat the clean meal. Give the compliment. Speak the truth. Show up early. Push a little harder. Reflect a little deeper. Rest with intention. Start again tomorrow. Each of those things may seem small, ordinary, but done daily, they build a life of meaning, of impact, of purpose. So as we close this journey, let me say it clearly, one final time. Build a day, and you'll build a destiny. Not all at once, but brick by brick, step by step, choice by choice. Because the extraordinary life, it's not hidden in some massive future event. It's hidden in the ordinary day, executed with extraordinary discipline. So start today. Own your day. Lead your day. Live your day. And watch your destiny unfold. One great day at a time. And now, as we wrap up this journey together, remember this. Your future isn't waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for your consistency. You don't need to predict the next 10 years. You just need to own today with focus, with intention, and with purpose. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most committed, to those who dare to show up not just once, but every single day, with discipline, with heart, with a mindset that says, I may not be there yet, but I'm on my way. So go build your day and trust that the destiny you're dreaming of, it's already being built, one choice at a time.